With a solid idea, well-developed characters, and a strong outline, you'll be well on your way to writing a great novel. But how do you get there? By taking some time to do the basics. And that's exactly what I'll be covering in this episode. Hi, I'm Stuart Wakefield, an Author Accelerator certified book coach and writer. With 26 years in theatre, broadcast media, and coaching under my belt, I know what makes stories work. And I love to share that with other writers because the world of storytelling is like the ocean. It's deep, it's mysterious, and it's a little scary to those who don't know how to navigate it. And with so much left to luck and timing, it's my mission to give great books the best chance of getting into readers' hands. In each episode, I'll share tips and plans of action that will help you write, edit, and publish your book. If you're new to writing or consciously working to improve your craft, then this is the podcast for you. Do you know, it takes a great deal of imagination and craftsmanship to write a novel, but what if you're just getting started? Before you can dive right into the creative process of crafting the perfect story, there are a few important steps you'll need to take. Knowing what these steps are and how to go about them can help you stay organised and make your writing process easier. And heavens no, we all want it to be easier. So here are the crucial steps you need to know before you start writing your novel. Start with an idea. Okay, so I think it's obvious. Technically, I'm not counting this as a true step. But before you can even begin writing, you'll need an idea to work with. This could be a concept you've been dreaming up for years, or it could be completely brand new. Whatever the case may be, it's essential to have a story idea to work with. If you're struggling to come up with something, I suggest you check out my blog post or podcast episode about coming up with great story ideas using morphological analysis. It's not as scary or as dull as it sounds. Decide the genre. Settle on the genre of your book and be as specific as possible. Is it fantasy? Is it historical fiction? Is it horror? Knowing the genre will help you determine your target audience and what you'll need to include in order to satisfy their expectations. Personally, I don't care what Disney Plus says. The movie Alien is horror, not sci-fi. If you're struggling to identify your book genre, go and have a look on Amazon at a book that's like yours. Then look at the genres and categories that book is listed under. The genre should resonate with you. If not, keep looking. Research genre expectations. If you're writing a romance, there's no point in having a tragic ending. That's not a romance, because romances have, guess what? Happy endings. So do your homework and make sure the right story beats are there in your scene planning. I'll be covering genre story beats in future episodes, but for now, Google is your friend. Check out the competition. Who are the best-selling authors in your genre? Pick one book and briefly explain how your book will appeal to the readers of that book and also how it will offer something new. Define your ideal reader. Of course, we want to write a book that appeals to as many people as possible, but as a starting point, we need to define the reader we're writing for. Who is your book for? What will your audience expect from this book? That's why understanding genre expectations matter. Is your reader Michael? He's obsessed with Game of Thrones, plays Dungeons and Dragons with his friends once a week, and collects Star Wars Lego. Is it Karen, who hides from her children in the airing cupboard so she can eat an ice cream in peace, and secretly breathes a sigh of relief every time her husband goes out to play golf with his friends? Or is it Betty, whose legs aren't what they used to be, but that doesn't stop her from watching Strictly Come Dancing while she wears her Diamante dance shoes and wishes that beautiful blonde boy who partnered her in the 60s hadn't turned out to be gay? Remember, you're defining who will buy your book, not who might buy your book. Establish why you're the best writer for this book. This is one of the most important steps, and certainly the one that causes the most panic in my clients when I ask. If you're a writer, you're already facing self-doubt, and this is normal. A way to overcome that self-doubt is by establishing what you're bringing to the story, because no one can write this story the way you can. So pin down why. Establish your point. What's the raison d'etre of your book? What does it add to the conversation? What's it bringing to the table? For example, if you're writing romance, essentially it all comes down to love conquers all. Characters may go through many trials to reach their happy ending, but no matter how bleak things look for them and their beloved, love perseveres. Other points might be crime doesn't pay, or good always defeats evil. You might have several points, but one should stand head and shoulders above the others. So decide what your point is. Develop the main character, the conflict, and the arc of change. Who's the lead in your story? What do they desire before their adventure begins? And what's getting in their way? Name the forces working against them from both the inside and the outside. All the forces, dark or light, that stand between your characters and their goals. Because when the story ends, it stays with them. A painful memory in the middle of a dark night, or a beacon of hope in the midst of despair. No matter how it turns out, if you bless them or kick them in the teeth, what they went through remains with them, forever changing who they are. Establish the story timeline. How much time passes in your story? The passage of time will be different depending on the type of story you're telling. A story that features a romance might span several months or even years. You may want to share the evolution of a character's personality over a period of weeks or even months. For example, a coming-of-age story might span a single summer. A collection of short stories could span weeks, days, hours, or even minutes. So make sure you know how much time your story covers. Establish the plot. What happens in your story? When I worked on my first screenplay, my coach made me summarize the entire plot in 5 sentences, then 5 paragraphs, then 5 pages. Better still, create an inside outline. It's one of the most powerful tools I've come across, and it just so happens I'm certified to use it with writers developing their stories. But shameless plug aside, a strong inside outline will help you figure out the major plot points of your novel, stay organised and focused as you write, and make the self-editing process much easier once each draft is complete. Develop the setting. The setting of your novel is just as important as the characters and plot, so think about the world you want to create and the atmosphere you want to evoke. Do some research into the setting you're writing about and explore all of the details, from geography to local customs, or create a world, your own world from scratch. These minor details will help flesh out your world and give it a sense of realism. Choose a working title. So go and have a look on Amazon, check out the titles of books in your genre and see what titles those books use. Using romance as an example, and category romance at that, I can tell you that Beauty and the Billionaire, A Billionaire Affair, and The Dirty Billionaire are just some of the steamy gems I came across. So look for a title that fits within your genre. Design a book cover. Now personally, I think it's a great idea for any writer to mock up a book cover, and I do it for my books all the time because it helps me think of them as a finished thing. If I can see it, I can work towards it. So whether you choose to do it using paper or pencil or a website like canva.com, visualizing your book can really help to keep you motivated. Before I wrap up, I invite you to do all the usual stuff like, review, share and subscribe. But better than all of that, come and visit me at thebookcoach.co. Sign up for my free self-editing guide and take a look at the services I provide, but there's tons of free useful stuff on my blog too. So that's it. When I work with my clients, I use all of these things as well as an additional 5. but I think these are the minimum that a writer needs to know before they start writing. So to recap, decide the genre, research the genre expectations, check out the competition, define your ideal reader, establish why you are the best writer for this book, establish your point, develop the main character, the conflict, and the arc of change, establish the story timeline, establish the plot, develop the setting, and choose a working title, and optionally design that book cover. With a solid idea, well-developed characters, and a strong outline, you will be well on your way to writing a great novel. So take some time to do the basics and see how much easier it can be. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, and well done for investing some time in your own writing life. And yes, this podcast is about writing, but I'm here for you, not just your story.